Believe it or not, I am not always in a talky mood. That may surprise some people. It may be completely known by other people. But I think, in all honesty, there has still been this element of going between feeling good about things, feeling motivated, feeling excited even, and feeling just generally driven, which I feel like I naturally thrive in. And then there are elements still of just not having a clue. And there's not anything, and I feel like there's a lot of this for people at the moment anyway. So it's not that there's anything in particular that the not having a clue is attached to. It's not necessarily about anything. There are some areas that I'm even clearer on. So it's just a symptom, I think, of the current times where we can switch between feeling really, really good, feeling awesome, or knowing what we're doing and having the energy and the drive and the excitement to do it, versus knowing those things but also just kind of feeling a little meh. And I say that because there's not really a particular feeling that I've landed on. Otherwise, it's not lost, it's not confused, because I don't feel lost, I don't feel confused. And I wanted to share about it because I feel like it's important to talk about first, but also because I'll share things that you can do that I find help when it comes to just navigating these differences in polarities of emotions. Some of it will be to do with communication, some of it will be to do with mindfulness and awareness, and taking care of yourself. But these are things that feel helpful in helping me, at least, remember that we are such complex beings that we aren't designed to only feel or experience one thing at a time. So while it may feel a bit like whiplash of going between the two, the feeling really good and the not having a clue kind of element, we are allowed to feel both at the same time. And sometimes that can be our biggest issue, is sitting in that going, well, what do I feel? How am I doing? How do I answer that person when they ask how I'm doing? And it depends on who it is as to how you explain that and how you communicate that. But these are just some tips. I've got 5. Let's see if it ends up staying at 5. To help kind of navigate and address yourself in those times, or even overall. So number 1 is say what you need to say. And this is more for you than it is for anyone else. So if there is something that you need to talk through with someone, definitely reach out and approach that. If it's with someone in particular, that becomes more of a nuanced approach, and the element of approaching it knowing you have to be okay with the idea that they may not want to talk that through. But if it's just in general, if it's stuff that you just need to talk through or say out loud and talk it out, it can be just approaching someone that you feel comfortable with, that you trust, and say, hey, can I just talk something out loud? I feel like I know the answer, but there's something I need to put it in this clear line and see it as it is. And that kind of takes care of business in the way that there's nothing left unexpressed then. Or there could always be more to express for sure, but the really big important things are still being acknowledged and still being addressed. And that is really, really important in general, but it's definitely extra important right now when we might be feeling a variety of feelings or experiences or whatever it is. So say what you need to say, and then that's more for you. And sometimes that can be gratitude. If you want to reach out to someone that you feel grateful for, you can say that, and hopefully it's received well, because it should be. But you can just say, hey, I'm really grateful for your friendship, or I'm really grateful for you for this reason, or whatever it is. And it doesn't have to mean anything more than that. It can just be gratitude. So say what you need to say for you. Number 2 is do what you need to do for integrity. So whether you have a to-do list, so like work, or you're on the receiving end of a conversation, or on the other side of a conversation that kind of needs to be had, or it would be, it would show more integrity to have it. That could be something that you then do what you need to do and address what you need to address, really. And that's all it is about. If there's a to-do list and there's things that you've said to people that you'll have done by a certain time, see if you can follow through on that, or at the very least communicate with them and let them know if you can't. And this is good practice anyway, by the way, but this will just clear your conscience a little. But I don't want to speak from that moral high ground for you, because we all have different values. But what it will do is it'll avoid having those things weighing heavy on you, and that's what's most important, is just to not have things piling up that then you might start to feel guilty over or bad about, or anything like that. So it's for integrity, but it's also for you as well. This is all for you. Number 3 is, outside of that, do only what you want to do. And what does that mean? It means if you just need time and you don't want to jump on that Zoom call with your friends, then just say so. And ideally you'll communicate this with them and say, hey, I just need a week, like I just need to have quiet time, or whatever it is. Or if it's really anything. It's just doing what you feel like doing without feeling the pressure of outside things. So outside of saying what you need to say and doing what you need to do, outside of that, only do what you want to do, because that is taking care of you and lessening our sense of guilt again. Number 4 is, and this is a really key one actually, and hopefully we've all to a degree been working on this already, or practicing this already, or exploring this already. But number 4 is decide on and explore what is important to you. So a quick list that I wrote just before I started recording is like my list of what's important to me right now, at the moment, in this moment, is time spent with the right people, whether it's in person or connecting with them on FaceTime, or in messages. But at the moment, it's really that connection point, is time spent with the right people. It's hard to explain what I mean by the right people. It's just a gut feeling of, this is the energy I want to be around right now, or this is the person that I want to connect with right now, because there is some kind of soul family connection there. And I have people in my life that are soul family that I love connecting with. So that is important to me right now, but not excessively even. Quiet time alone. And often at the moment, I'm finding that means just taking space. And as boring as that sounds, because all we have on a macro level at the moment is space, quiet time alone, where I'm kind of just sitting staring at a wall, more or less, is really helpful for me, because it feels like there's so much going on internally that sometimes it can't quite be journaled or explained in words at this stage. It's just more, there just needs to be space to process or to just sit with. I don't even have to be doing anything. It can just be, I'm just gonna have and take space. And that is really important to me at the moment. Being cruisy in how I create. So Apparently I'm not worrying about the time limit on this one. Thank you for still watching if you are. But being cruisy in how I create. So I'm in the middle of redoing my website, for example, because I'm going through a rebrand, which is very, very exciting. And that does motivate me and excite me. And I am enjoying the process of redoing things, and I'm enjoying the feeling of accomplishment when I get it done, and it's all creative, but then I don't force it. So basically I'm not forcing any creative process. I'm just cruising. Exercising and eating well is important to me. So are treats at the moment. And not putting pressure on myself. So if I have a treat, it's okay. I can exercise and eat well as well. So that's number 4, decide on and explore what's important to you. Because that is really key in how we can then do more of that on purpose. And it will feel more nourishing when you are feeling in the height of one emotion or the other. And number 5 is address what's weighing heavy. So some of that is, I do that in that quiet time alone with that space. Sometimes it's just acknowledging and saying, well, actually, this is weighing heavy. This is what it is. Just acknowledging whatever is weighing heavy for you, even if you don't have the answers. And sometimes that makes it even harder to acknowledge it, because we naturally tend to want to have the answers. And sometimes we just don't. So let yourself address what's weighing heavy, and sometimes that lessens the weight just a little bit, even if there is no solution. And at the moment, there may not be one. And I am sorry if you feel even heavier as a result of that, because it is tough. So whether you're feeling good or you don't have a clue, or you feel okay, but there's just something and you just need quiet, or whatever it is, and that's kind of where I'm at. That is a few little things that you can do to just make sure that you're taking care of you, but not ignoring what serves you as well. And by that, I mean the things, following through on your word and doing what you need to do, or saying what you need to say, or anything like that, but still taking care of you. And all of that is taking care of you. Sometimes we can get caught up in or some people can get caught up in I'm being gentle with myself, so I'm not doing anything, and then they just end up adding more stress onto themselves because they would have felt better by replying to those emails that could have taken just maybe 10 minutes. And just having that job out of the way. So a quick list of those things again. 1, say what you need to say. 2, do what you need to do. 3, outside of that, only do what you want to do. 4, decide on and explore what's important to you. And 5, address what's weighing heavy. This will help as a starting point of, taking care of you, but doing so in a way that you still take care of business, life, and all of the things that are still happening as a result of life still happening, but in this weird world that we live in at the moment.